Welcome to the show. I'm Vivian Kopsinger-Birchall, your host, and my special guests are Kimberly and Tiffany from the Air Force Space Force recruiting team. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, first of all, can you please introduce yourselves? Who are you, and how did you get into the line of work that you do?
Sure. I'll go first. My full rank at Technical Sergeant Kimberly Nagel. I am currently the non-commissioned officer in charge of squadron marketing for the 319th Recruiting Squadron. So that kind of means I cover marketing in all sense of media, social media, in just basic marketing needs for recruiting all of New England, Europe, and Africa. So we're busy. We're busy right now.
Europe and Africa, wow.
Yes.
Okay. We have a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do. Little background about me. I'm about 10 years into the Air Force. I started my career as a photographer, and then I merged into journalism, so I became a photojournalist, and now I consider myself a PA specialist, so I can also do video needs, so I can kind of do it all, but it's been a pretty cool career.
Absolutely. I can't wait to hear more about it.
So I am Technical Sergeant Tiffany Martin. So I'm same rank as Sergeant Nagle. I am actually the Air and Space Force recruiter for the local area. So I'm here just pretty much giving out information and giving a lot of students and anybody who's really interested in maybe pursuing a path in the Air or Space Force. I go out to schools, I do a lot of events, but pretty much we're just out here getting the information out, but then also, speaking with the community, working with the community. I'm really big into community service. I love going out and helping, giving an extra hand. And where I first came in for the Air Force I was security forces. I did that for 9 years. Absolutely loved it. So I was a military police officer. I was able to, go to several different places. And like I said before, I was really big into community service and, doing something else outside. So I was able to deploy to 3 different places. 2 of the places I was able to do some humanitarian work, which hands down, I wish I could just, speak volumes on it, and I wish, there's not enough time to talk about all of that, but it was very, very humbling and rewarding all at the same time.
First of all, it's very exciting to host you ladies on Women's History Month.
It is, yes.
Thank
So
you.
it adds a little flavor to everything that is happening here. So thank you, first of all, for your service.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you. So when you say you are recruiters, or what exactly does that mean? What does it entail, and how do you recruit? Starting with Kimberly and then Tiff.
So I'm not what we call traditional recruiter. I'm not on the boots on the ground recruiting. I kind of held it at a different level. I help them do social media ads. I help them get into media things similar to this, and I help facilitate different marketing needs. But Sergeant Martin's more boots on the ground, in the recruiters, in the schools.
Yeah. So with that, what I do is I'm pretty much just pushing knowledge out there, because that's a big thing. Is I feel like knowledge is power. That's what we always push in the Air Force. Is ultimately we're giving you a bunch of information about what all the opportunities the Air Force has. A lot of people don't know. We have our own community college that when you go to basic and tech school, which tech school is going to be where you're learning your job, and basic training is just getting you integrated into the Air Force, you're earning college credits, which is pretty crazy if you think about it, because it's almost like you're getting paid to go to school, which there's a lot of little things such as that a lot of people just don't know. So I'm just giving that information because a lot of, especially students, decide, maybe college isn't for them. Right. And, with the Air Force, you can come in, get a full-time job, get medical benefits. We could pay for your education. Even if you don't want it, you never know. Might down the road decide that you want that. And so it's really great to be able to just give that information out there just to see if this is something, because everybody has their own path, whether it's in the Air Force or if it's a civilian lifestyle. That's just giving information out to help them make the best decision for them.
2 questions. Is there an age limit to the...
So there is. It is 39. So you would have to be into basic before your 40th birthday.
Bummer. All right. All right. And then the other question is, how do you select what schools you go to for recruitment, if at all?
Oh, so for me, I cover a pretty wide area. I go to any school that will allow me in. So I'll go out to each of the schools. I will, bring out some Air Force literature, some Air Force, goodies, and then I always try to bring in some like candy and stuff like that. But pretty much any school that is in the area that I covered, which is like our area of a responsibility, I'll go out, and if they'll let me in, I'll, do a school setup, I'll do a presentation, but then I'm also doing events as well. So, I'm any kind of events that come up in the local community, I'm always out there just trying to get some information out there, but then also help out in the community, give out some free stuff. I'll bring waters to home days and stuff like that, and sporting events and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then the Air Force is broad, but you specifically talked about the Space Force. So what is the Space Force?
So with the Space Force, it's pretty much it came from the Air Force. So we've always had, individuals who are watching and monitoring our satellites and, everything that's going on up in NASA and space. So the big thing with the Space Force is we've actually, because of recent events, which I know you've probably saw throughout
the balloons,
throughout the news here recently, there's been a very, very big need for an actual branch just to focus on the Space Force, because there are things that are happening out there that it could very much impact down here, whether it be within our our GPSs, our phones, even little things as that is making a huge impact up there because we have all of our satellites up there. So with that, we're going to have intelligence agents that are going to be, covering and watching, space. So pretty much they're kind of like the guys behind the scenes. They're not the individuals going up in space, but they are watching, NASA, and then also any of the other industries that are pushing things up into space, making sure that nothing's going to fall back down here or nothing's going to hit our satellites up there.
And we have, of course, also students who push things up in space as part of their, curriculum.
Absolutely.
Right. So back to Kimberly. What is your experience doing media and communication work for an institution like the Air Force with all its limitations?
It's definitely different than it would be like a typical media station out in a community. Our goal is to tell the Air Force story. We want the world to know what our airmen and guardians are doing, and that's really our biggest thing, is to tell everyone what awesome work we're doing and to let them know the really cool assets that we've got, and the scary things sometimes people hey, we've got them, don't worry.
And when it comes to telling stories, or from your experience in the past years, what are some of the myths out there about the Air Force that you have learned about or have had to debunk as someone in communication? Just curious.
I think to keep it more local to recruiting, the biggest thing we debunk is that not everyone in the Air Force is a pilot. That's one of our favorite things to talk about in recruiting, because people always think you're in the Air Force, so you're a pilot, but that's just a small percentage of what the Air Force is, and that's again kind of what we do. We tell the story, our pilots are in the sky, but it took 15 people to put that pilot in the sky. We had our crew chiefs who had to make sure the jet was ready. We had the weapons troop to make sure the weapons on the aircraft are ready to go. We had someone signing off paperwork, or someone that paid that pilot that day to make sure that pilot went in the sky. So we have a whole team of individuals that keep one mission going, and that's one of my favorite things to talk about.
And are there any most recent activities that you're planning or programs that the public should be aware of or participate in?
Yes, we have one really big project we're working on. It's called the Air and Space Force Century Educator Award, and we are trying to highlight 10 of our top 10 educators across New England who are just killing it, who we know are out there, because educators are not only helping our future students and community, but they help the recruiting mission so severely, and we're trying to highlight them. So we're out there trying to get submissions of our educators.
Okay.
So this award, we're trying to get people to nominate in a essay form. The essay is hoping to have 3 paragraphs, including how the educators exemplify excellence, service, and integrity. And we're hoping students nominate their educators. The different educators can nominate each other, and we're using the term educator broadly. We're hoping for the secretaries at the front desk, who we know are really running those schools, the counselors, the gym teachers, the special education teachers, everyone. We're hoping from anyone is nominated, all the way down elementary school, 4-year colleges. We're really looking to help and get these educators highlighted.
And where can people, or even, where can the community find this information on how to submit?
Yes. So we're pushing out to the communities. We're doing it on media. We're talking to schools, but ultimately you can reach it through myself. Okay. Through so it'd be, I can give my email address. We can probably put it on the screen.
Yep.
So through me and any local recruiter that you run into throughout New England, they have that information as well.
All right. Is there anything that about the Air Force that we haven't talked about right now that you'd like our community to know, our viewers to know?
So, I mean, I will just kind of, give a broad thing of kind of what we are about in the Air Force recruiting and Space Force recruiting. So like she was saying, we do have over 150 different career fields. So we have everything from firefighters, plumbers, we even have, gym individual services, security forces. So we do have a plethora. A big thing I always push is jets. Let me tell you about jets, because everybody thinks that we fly jets, right? But I'm going to tell you what the Air Force on the enlisted side actually does. I'm going to tell you a little bit about jobs, education, training, travel, and satisfaction of being in the Air Force.
Jets.
Jets, right? So, like I said, we do have over 150 different career fields. But then with the education, we have tuition assistance, where we're going to pay for not only your associates, but your bachelor's degree, master's degree, and even up to your doctorate, which is a lot of different opportunities in that. With the training and travel. So when you're getting trained, so just like with any job out in the outside, maybe you go to college. Well, when you go to basic and tech school, we're not just going to, drop you out there and expect you to know what to do. We're actually going to train you when you get to your first duty location, wherever you get stationed, and we're going to do on-the-job training. And then travel, of course, you're going to be able to go overseas. You got all kinds of different places. We have stateside locations. We have overseas locations. So being able to travel is something that's really big. I'm from a little small town in Tennessee. You ever heard of Dolly Parton?
Yep.
That is where I'm from.
Jolene.
Oh, Jolene, absolutely. So that's where I'm from. If you would have told me when I got out of high school, I would have been to Japan, Korea, Ireland, Germany. I would have been like, there's no way. Right. So the big thing is you can absolutely travel, and it's all on the Air Force's dime, which is really nice.
And I'm going to get to you about your work in Africa, and but before I do that, are there any exceptions to the age cutoff?
39. So we do have for doctors, and that was going to be for officer sessions, right. But for in the enlisted side, it's just 39, and then you got to be in BMT or basic military training by your 40th birthday.
Grumble. All right. So back to Kimberly. Yes. What has been your experience with your work in in Africa and Europe?
Right. So
I ask because I'm from Africa, so I'm curious.
We have recruiters that are overseas right now who are doing the same mission we are. They're trying to recruit individuals who want to join the military. It could be individuals who dual citizenship, who both have an American citizenship and whichever citizenship they have overseas, or if their service member parent is there and they're with them, so we can get dependents recruited. We have our recruiters all over the Middle East that are mostly doing Zoom calls, so they don't do too much traveling down there because they don't live there. But we are trying to recruit from all over the world.
Why?
Because
I'm curious.
That's a very great question. Because the Air Force is extremely diverse. We want to be able to communicate that we're open to anyone, any and everybody. It doesn't really matter. We want that diversity because somebody else has seen something different in their world and might have a different view of someone else, and they come together and now they have a different vision that they could work on together.
Yeah, the reason I ask why is that if somebody has a dual citizenship, that's a conflict of, it's like they have to forego one. I think that's usually to
Yes.
work in the foreign.
They would have to,
in
yes.
foreign service. All right, so you encourage them to become American citizens in a way.
It's an option.
I like the way you put it. True PR person. No, this is amazing. Thank you. Is there, before we close this interview, is there anything that we've left out that you'd like our viewers to know?
If you're looking for more questions about Air Force or Space Force, you can always go to airforce.com or spaceforce.com. That has the most in-depth information that you can find, and there you could always find a local recruiter as well.
Absolutely. Is there anything else?
If you guys ever have any questions and you're in the local area, my office is in downtown Lowell. It's the 18 John Street. More than welcome to drop in anytime.
Well, thank you, ladies. It's been such a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
And I look forward to having you back soon.
We will be back.
And to our viewers, you can learn more about the Air Force again at their website, airforce.com and spaceforce.com. And thank you for watching. Till next time.